Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 25th of August. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at Charting the Markets on Substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, we are still, we tested yesterday, low yesterday. We got a little double bottom here, which might break up, and if it does, that'll have a target at about the 77.65 area. This could be a bull flag forming. I've got it more on the hasn't actually. It's breaking resistance slightly here, and it's going to break the declining resistance on SPX, where I've got a little flag drawn 5-minute chart at the open, unless obviously we see a significant decline in the meantime. Right, the only buy signal we had left yesterday morning was the NQ one, and that's now reached the possible near miss target, and we've now reached the full targets on both DAX and ESTX. We shall see. We've also got on Nikkei, we had the head and shoulders forming, that's broken down, and with a, sorry, I haven't actually marked that in for some reason, but it's basically broken down with a target at a retest of this low here. But of course, now that we've got a head and shoulders, if we see a break back up over the right shoulder high, of course that fails with a target at a retest of this high. So we shall see. That's a decision which I'm thinking will probably get made today. I'm very aware that we've got a very bullish day, leaning day historically, a 90% bullish, which is unusually high on Thursday. Don't necessarily have to deliver on that. Of course, even those ones close down 10% of the time, but I'm just aware that's coming up. That's the only strongly directionally leaning day this week. So just going through, yes, this is a potential at a level bottom. Not the same on Qs, but if this is a bull flag, it could be breaking up. On YM, this is a bull flag that could be breaking up. On RTY, this is a bull flag that could be breaking up. Are these great bull flags? No. Just wondering about this RTY one, actually. Hang on a second. Yeah, they're not really. They're not of the greatest quality. But we've got an inflection point here. Either we see it breaks below the daily middle band to open up more downside, or we don't. In which case, if we don't, we're probably going to go back and retest the highs. So we will see how that goes. We've got a little head and shoulders which broke down on double top that broke down on DAX, which could be failing, but of course doesn't give a clear signal like Nikkei, and we're just back testing the weekly middle band on ESTX with no particular overall pattern. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And on ES, we saw another break. We saw another test of the daily middle band yesterday, and we saw a close slightly below it. It wasn't an awful loss, but nonetheless, an indication that we might see a more concrete break today. On SPX, we saw it close very marginally below it. Yeah, daily middle band closed at 7656, and it closed at 7653. I wouldn't class this as a breakdown. I would class this as a close on the band. Obviously, the daily sell signals reached the possible near miss targets on both SPX and Qs. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence really. 15-minute chart, nothing. We're just in a pure inflection point here, and we're waiting for a decision. In terms of the daily middle band, we had a more definite close below it on the Qs, not a strong break, but nonetheless a clear close below the daily middle band yesterday, and the sell signal here has now reached the full target on the daily RSI 5. On hourly chart, not really seeing anything. 15-minute chart, not really seeing anything. Would that be usual at a low like this? Not particularly, but we might just be making a slow low. On Dia, this was interesting because this is the one that had already broken below the daily middle band, and this actually closed marginally above it. So nothing on the hourly, nothing on the 15-minute, but we would say on the hourly that this is the rising support from the end of March, and that touched this perfectly and rose. This wouldn't be a bad area to go back and retest the high from. All right, let's have a look at IWM. And IWM, we had a close marginally below, that's 298.86, and it closed at 297.97. So that's in close below territory rather than close on the band, but it's a very, very light break. We've got a little RSI. No, we don't, because we didn't see it. Did we retest that? Yes, we did. Okay, we've got a little RSI 2 daily buy signal. Often that would deliver something. In terms of the big hourly charts, though, really got nothing. And 15-minute charts, we've got a little RSI 5 buy signal that's fixed, and normally that wouldn't be enough really to move the needle. So we don't really have anything in the way of positive divergence. We have some topping patterns which have broken down, but it really, at this point, it's all about the daily middle bands and whether or not we can get a stronger break below them, which is something we haven't seen yet. In terms of DAX, we are testing the daily middle band and holding it so far. On Nikkei, we've seen a couple of closes below, and yesterday we basically had a close on the band. In terms of where exactly we closed, marginally below it maybe. Again, this basically is us testing the daily middle bands across all of these. We're testing on DAX, we're testing on Nikkei, we're testing on SPX, we're testing on the Qs. So we haven't got any conviction breaks below. If we do, that opens up the next stage down, and we would be looking at, hang on 1 second. SPX here, we'd be looking at really a move down to this area here, which is I think I was giving that as the 75.80 to 76.20 area. We've actually almost reached that area at this low, but we would see something more definite, but and possibly lower, because if we really broke down, then we could see a move down to 72.37. Possible head and shoulder neckline there, but at the moment we're not seeing anything definite, and we could most definitely return to the highs, which we need to remember are not far away. All right, let's have a look at other instruments. Let's have a look at DX. DX, we've got a declining resistance trend line here. We've been seeing a little bit of a rally. The buy signal has made the possible near miss target. Overall, got to say, I'm leaning lower. ZB, I'm also, hang on. ZB, I'm also leaning lower. We've got a possible double bottom here, but I think we're just consolidating for another move down. ZN looks like the case as well. Looking at oil, we're seeing a bit of a pullback here. We're not seeing any divergence really on the I think we might have one divergence on heating oil, but we've not really got anything. We've got no 60-minute sell signals. I'm thinking this is just ebb and flow, and we're seeing a bit of a pullback here after a strong move up. Could that go lower? Yes. Have I got any targets for it to go lower? Not yet. On HO, we have possible head and shoulder neckline here that could be reached. On CL, the same. We've just gone through one. I suppose we could get to another. Coil, nothing that really looks like a topping pattern so far, and nothing really defined enough to call a bull flag either. In terms of RBOB, we reached possible head and shoulder neckline there. This could be a double top support, and we may be breaking slightly below it with a target in about the 2.8 to 2.825 area, but it's all thin. Obviously, yesterday we had the announcement, which was a bit of a damp squib about economically isolating Iran and threats of doing big tariffs and restricting the financial system to anyone trading with Iran. But Iran is saying that basically all of their trading partners, which are basically all the Persian Gulf states, Russia, and China, have all been supportive. China have rejected this outright publicly immediately. And it's doubtful the Persian Gulf states are going to be that keen on complying as well. I think they're already pretty annoyed with the US about this whole war. I'm doubtful that will deliver anything. It was just an awful lot of hyperbole and drama about what actually amounted to very little. So we'll see. All right, NG, not breaking up so far. Does this still look like a bearish consolidation? Yes. So I'm not really expecting to see much, but if we were to see a sustained break over the monthly pivot at 2.911, then we could see some upside. Until then, I'm thinking this is consolidating for another move down. All right, looking at GC, where we are making more progress to the upside. We've got a 6-minute sell signal fixed, and that's delivered nothing so far. The SI one managed to make the possible near miss target, and this kind of looks like a bull flag forming on Palladium. We still got a double bottom that's broken up, and we've still got a beautiful rising megaphone that could well be a bear flag, which I'm watching with interest and a little concern. Looking at platinum, with this one's actually been rising fairly strongly, but no really obvious pattern that would be worth drawing in. HG, wondering about a possible retest of this high if we retest the highs on equities. Okay, just looking at the other currencies. Made the full target on the sell signal on euro, made the possible near miss target on GBP, made the full buy signal target on USD JPY, made the full buy signal target on USD CAD, and a possible 60-minute sell signal is fixed. This looks like it's rolling over. Made the sell signal target on possible near miss target on Australian dollar, and made that on NZ as well. NZ, I would just note, made the IHS target in the 59.63 area. Overall, on the dollar, I'm leaning down. So KC, I was talking about this being a bullish consolidation, which should result in a retest of this high, and it's retested this high. This could proceed higher, but this for now, we've got a pretty nice looking potential double top, and I'm watching that. SB, we are consolidating. This is starting to look quite a lot like a bull flag forming, thinking that we might see a lower low within that flag to make the possible near miss target on the open sell signal. CC still probably consolidating for a retest of this high. Lumber trickling down without any real conviction. Still got a 60-minute buy signal fix. CT consolidating a bit. Possible bull flag forming. 60-minute sell signals reached possible near miss target. ZW. We've broken the rising support trend line, which was quite nice, and we're seeing a bit of a retracement here. Overall, I gotta say, I'm still leaning long here. Corn the same, and we're seeing a bit of retracement. Soy the same, and we're seeing a bit of retracement. Looks like a bull flag forming. We've got also a possible 60-minute weak 60-minute buy signal forming. So hang on 1 second. That's worth noting because this is actually a fairly weak one. ZL, still wondering about a retest this high here. Still haven't seen it. Live cattle, mainly watching the head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 204.45 area, and what Trump's planning with what would, I suppose, would likely be Argentine beef would not obviously help that, I wouldn't have thought. And lean hogs, we retested the low here. That's not going to be a double bottom, but it is an opportunity to turn back up, having made that target from the failure of this head and shoulders. So we shall see. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Am I still thinking of a drop before a move back up? It's all dependent on the daily middle band. If we hold the daily middle bands across the board, because we are testing them across the board, then we can go back up into a retest the high, possible double top there. And I've got to say, bigger picture, there are some signs of a larger drop coming, but in the short term, it's all about whether we can actually get below the daily middle band. And at the moment, the jury is still out. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Cheers.